Hello everyone, welcome to the very first Tech Term Tuesday. If you have a better name for this series, please let me know in the comments. That is all I could come up with. But basically each week I want to bring you a little mini training on different tech terms. And we're gonna start from very basic and work our way up because I don't want anyone to be overwhelmed or lost. You know, I want to have a really good foundation of tech terms so you know what is being talked about in the world of tech and in your business. So this week we're gonna start with the very common and you probably already know term domain. Now your domain is the name of your website. Plain and simple. It also is more than likely the name of your business. So to start out, the domain and URL sometimes can be used interchangeably. Now, technically that's not correct. Your domain actually lives inside of your URL. So in our instance, our domain is The Creative Coyote. Our URL would be www.thecreativecoyote.com. That is the URL. So the domain lives inside the URL, but they are sometimes used interchangeably and, you know, people know what you're talking about. But the way that you go about getting a domain, so you have your business name, and the next thing that you typically would do is make sure that that business name is an available domain, an available social handle, all of the above, you know, all the different checks. So what you can actually do is purchase a domain in a lot of different places. You can purchase it just from a domain purchase site, but what we always recommend is to purchase your domain through your hosting platform and your hosting provider. Now, it's not always available. Some hosts don't offer the option of buying a domain name with them, but we use Bluehost and always recommend Bluehost. I've used them for years and I've never had a problem. There is, you know, you'll get different opinions on hosting platforms from person to person. Everybody has their own opinion. Everyone has their own, you know, experience with a host, and we use Bluehost because we love it. We've never had a problem and it works perfectly. So Bluehost actually allows you to purchase a domain and have your hosting with them together in one. And they also give you a year free for your domain. So when you sign up for your hosting package with them, it comes with 1 year free domain name. So you don't have to pay your domain for a full year, which is really nice. Typically the domain will cost you anywhere from $10 to $20. There are some that are more. There can be some that are less, but that is like a typical range. So it's not a bad price at all, but it is something to just keep in mind that it will be a recurring cost as long as you want to own that domain name. So I do have a few tips for you on choosing a domain and getting all set up. So first off, you want to keep it simple. This is really not the time to get funky and get creative with, you know, funny ways of spelling your domain, or, you know, maybe using like a number instead of the word, like, I don't know, whatever, like something for you. Like you wouldn't want to use the number 4 instead of typing out, you know, with the word FOR. And even for the word you know, you wouldn't want to just use the letter U instead of YOU, because those are just things that are gonna trip people up. It's kind of like a barrier to entry to find your site. So if somebody types in your website and you don't come up because they don't know the exact like specific spelling that you used because you got creative, it can definitely hinder the traffic and visitors finding you. So you want to keep it simple, and you want to make sure that it's something easy to remember. You don't want it to be this like crazy long domain where people don't remember what the heck, you know, your website is. So the second tip that I have is a very interesting one. So it might not be something that you think about right away, but it's very important to make sure that your domain name does not squish together and create a word in and of itself that is not intended. So if you Google embarrassing domain names, you will see a very long list of 2 words that have been put together and squished together that created a not so intended word. So one example that is a very famous example of this is the domain name for, I don't even know what it is. I'm guessing it's an island, but it's called Penn Island. So Penn Island. So if you put those words together, squish them together, they make a different word. And if you type it out or Google the embarrassing domain names, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But you want to make sure that those words squished together do not make something that you did not intend to make. So that is a very important part that people don't think about sometimes when they're creating their business name. The third tip that I have for you is to always make sure that the socials are going to be available across all platforms for that same name. Now, of course, in 2020, there are a lot of people using the internet. There's a lot of people who have Instagram handles and Facebook handles and Twitter handles, and some names are just taken already. And you know, it is what it is, but if you can secure your business name, your domain name, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of those handles being the same, that is going to benefit you so much. You don't want to, preferably, have your business name be one name, your domain name be a slightly different, and then your social handles being like slight variations from platform to platform. Preferably, you should have everything being exactly the same across the board. So that way people can find you no matter where they're looking for you. You're always going to be the same. You're always going to show up, and they don't have to search to find you. So those are just some little tips and a little bit of information on your domain. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them for you. There are no dumb questions when it comes to Tech Term Tuesday, and I look forward to coming back next week. I don't know what next week's topic is going to be or term is going to be, but if you have a suggestion, you can leave it in the comments. And yeah, I will go ahead and see you next week. Thank you so much for joining on the very first Tech Term Tuesday. Bye.